Hi Milka, how are you doing? Hello. Milka, karibu sana. Good to see you here. Today, guys are late. I don't know whether it's because of the flooding or something. I hope we are all good and that God has kept us. How are you doing, Milka? Hi Milka, hi Eva, hi Charles, karibuni sana. Good to see you here. Good to have you today, guys. Hope you guys are doing well. Eva, how are you doing? Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? Hello. Hi, guys. Can anyone hear me? Charles, Milka, Eva. I need to know where I'm audible. Can anyone hear me? I want to confirm whether I'm audible, guys. Great. Thank you, Eva, for confirming that. Yeah, I don't know whether you guys had a problem signing in. I've gotten two guys saying they had an issue logging into the meeting, and I'm trying to. I think I had a link breakdown, but I'm trying to sort that out right now. Yeah, there's a problem signing into the meeting, so actually that's why you guys are a bit late. But I'll do that in a minute. I'll send the link directly to a few of these guys so that we just move on. I think time is far much gone, but we will still keep time. I'll try as much as possible to be fast enough to present today's lesson. So there are a few guys here, I think. Um, guys, give me the next 3 or 4 minutes. I'll be able to, we will just move on. And because we are recording already, we are live streaming, I'll be able to, um, I'll have sorted these guys out with the link. Just one moment, one. All right, guys. Sorry about that. We will just continue, and the guys who will manage to log in. I think there's not much I can be able to do. I'll try as much as possible to maybe to share the recording with them, but we will just move on. Whoever makes to break through, I think they will still join us along the way. And also, I had a guy who assisted me last time on the technical issues. Seems they have another meeting now, but it's still fine. Yeah. So I just wanted us either in a chat or unmuting our mic to just share how our week was and what have we run with, like this last 1 week. Is there something that you learned that you were sensitive to apply this past week? Yeah, I would love to hear maybe from the chat, but it would be better if we would hear your voice. And also, we would love to hear where you are joining us from. That would be really great. Yeah, because we are few, I want maybe Milka, can you hear us? Milka, you haven't even chatted or spoken today. Yeah, where are you joining us from? And what have you ran with this week that you learned last week? Yeah, if you don't mind unmuting and letting us know, we will really appreciate. Milka, over to you. And also, Wambui, maybe you can share something you learned that you are able to be sensitive or just to be conscious about this past week. Yeah. Milka? Milka, we're waiting for you. Or Wambui, maybe, no, Eva Dambi, maybe you can go first. Maybe Milka is a bit shy. Mm-hmm. Eva, over to you.
Okay, so good evening, everyone.
Evening.
Yeah, so I'm joining you from Ngong.
Okay.
It's currently raining heavily, but we
Wow.
thank God. Yeah, we thank God for this day, for the
Mm-hmm.
rains.
Yeah.
Yeah, uh, so 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 for me, I think my take home from the previous the different money languages. And
Yeah.
during the week, I've been really thinking about my money, where I fall in the languages, and I've been
Yeah.
very very aware and keen of how I'm spending my money.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I think I'm in a stage where for me money is more of security. So I've been very very keen on how I'm
Yeah.
spending it. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, what else was
Uh,
I supposed to? I think
yeah,
that's it.
maybe you have shared how your week was, where you are logging in from. Yeah, about your takeaway home last week, and that is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that, Eva. And
Thank you.
again, yeah, thank you so much. Milka, over to you, or we just move on. I know Charles was in the midst of doing something else and also joining in. That's why I'm not maybe mentioning Charles a lot. There are a few guys who will be logging in, but we will just continue. We will, Milka, I don't want to continue without hearing your voice, or if you can't, maybe you can chat and say, yeah, we are together and we are moving on well. Yeah, so we will just do a small recap of what we shared last week and then hit the road running to the next topic. So that again, I promise to do a topic on speaking to our money, which is quite big on me and how I do money. And I believe I believe as a Christian also I love applying what I learned from what guides me basically, which is the Word of God. But above all, knowing that um, we can't just assume that we have like so many verses talking about finances and ignore everything and just go to the percentages, to the long term, short term, and all those topics that I talk about money in my career and what I do every day. But basically, I believe it's so foundational to know about money languages, to know about how to speak to our money, how to understand whether money is mastering us or we are mastering the money, who is the master, knowing actually who is the master. And again, today we talked about the consumption assumption, where we were talking about is it for me to consume now? Like money, is it for me to consume now, or do I hold it to consume later, which is me, and me again? And again, we talked about lifestyle inflation, where um, what we earn, we catch up, or actually we spend more than what we earn, which is really another way to show us that we are doing so badly on matters finance. So it's not just quoting scriptures, but actually it's also coming to a place where the rubber meets the road, or on matters finances. Yeah, so I think we talked a lot last, because actually I shared more than I was supposed to do for one class, but I still believe it's fine, because next class I will, not next class, the last one, I will do speaking to your finances, or speaking to your money as a whole topic. Like it's quite huge, but you guys will love it. I tried to chip in here and there, but again I realized I needed something that is so tangible that someone can actually say, really understood what you meant from the word go to the very end. Because at the end there are guys who say there, it didn't come out so clear on me. But actually we will do this, because there's a guy, as I told you guys, there's a guy who taught me this. He had come to Kenya and we met in a hotel somewhere, and it was quite premium, but I thank God I was able to pay to be able to be taught about that. And I think it blew up my mind how I do my money. Yeah, so another thing we talked about that last week is it's about greed. We talked about we can't see greed on the mirror. We can't see how we do money on the mirror. But unless someone else points out to me, by the way, I think the way you do your money, you start with me, number two is me, number three is me, number four is me. So it's all about me and how I do my money. And maybe in today's topic now, we will go beyond that and actually see from the Christian perspective, and also like how do I do money in a way that I overcome this G word. And it's really hard, because, and as I say, there are no topics that are super hard like the topic about money. And we talked about how we are able to see greed, or what do we do with our excess money, because sometimes we don't even know whether we have excess money. And we talked about these are places where we walk into to a shop, we replace a working phone with a working phone, maybe a better model of the same. And maybe depending with the level, there are guys who go to upgrade a working car with another working car that is maybe a newer model. And we talked about how we should identify how we are doing we are doing. And I think there's someone I told I can share. I may not be able to share my slides, but later on as we finish, I'll be able to share maybe notes and all that, and you'll be able maybe at your own time to go through and again look at how you are doing. So inflation, lifestyle inflation, again, I said this where I told you about someone who was telling me like how I would love to fill my trolley like the way I see guys doing in the supermarket. I want to feel that. But actually, I was telling someone how we discovered with my wife, the more we buy things in bulk, the quicker they end in our house. And maybe our house help and all that, they are able, they know there's so much, so they can use the way they want. So we had to actually figure out like how do we have enough. We are not in luck, but again we are not like like over supplying. Yeah, so today we will, and I think, and again, we talked about spying our money. And spying our money, this is where we record where our money, of course, we know where our money comes from. And if you're not sure, it's good where we know where our money is coming from, because most Kenyans have maybe the main job and then they have a side hustle. But most, again, the good number of us, we have maybe a business that is running. And when we talk about spying our money, is recording our money. And whenever I have a session with a client or with an individual, the first thing I tell them or I challenge them: do you track your money? Do you spy your money? Do you know where your money comes from? Do you know where your money is going? I like using the word sending your money. Do you know where you are sending your money? Because either I'm using for rent, either I'm using for groceries, either whatever I'm doing, I'm sending my money. I'm sending it to work for me, to bring me food on the table, to do whatever it is I'm doing. But sometimes there are people who like using the word spending. So depending on how you want to call it. And this is where now I challenge guys on budgeting. We break down into, and again, I like breaking budgeting or spending our money according to ages. If you're 20 to 30, you can't use your money the way you will use it when you are 30 to 40 and all that. I challenge guys on how to do budgeting. There are guys who, like, I really like, my portfolio is so full of guys who are very young. But again, I have guys who are in their 40s, 30s, and all that. And whenever I talk about budgeting, again, we factor in, because between 20 and 30, this is where someone is from college, they're in their first job, they are trying to figure out where they fit in the market. And these are places where we talk about, whenever we talk about budgeting, we can't budget the 50-30-20 rule we do with maybe someone in their 40s, because in their 40s, they have maybe their second child or their third child, or their child is already at around 8 years, 6 years, and 8 years and below, some of them 10 years, maybe 12, those who married early or who got married early. So it depends. But whenever I sit down with someone, that these are some of the questions we ask. Do you do your budget? But you cannot, like, as much as you do your budgeting, you also need to know, like, how am I living with whatever I've been having? And one time I was sharing how at one point in my life, I used to be so frustrated. Where does my money go? I felt, actually, someone told me, I think you need to pull up your socks. Like, you are actually not earning money. But when I started tracking my money, I realized within just some few months, I had used like maybe 700, in excess of 700,000. And until I started tracking my money, and this is just a very short period, when I tracked my money within those few months, I was like, wait a minute, I've been thinking I don't, or I've been thinking I don't have money, but actually I've been getting it and giving it different names immediately, and that alone really opened up my mind. And budgeting is not easy, but I usually say budgeting, we budget before we get the money, maybe at the beginning of the month, but actually tracking or spying our money, it's actually recording every day. And sometimes it's so tiresome, because sometimes you don't even remember what you used your money for. But I love, like, I rarely handle cash. Like, I intentionally don't handle cash. Like, I can stay for a whole month without cash in my pocket. I use my M-Pesa, and unless there are those transactions that are way beyond that, we feel now this is becoming too costly. Though rarely you would get, maybe there's a pay bill, there's an Lipa na M-Pesa and all that. So I like using my M-Pesa, because eventually I sit down and record my finances, how I've used my money. So these are very good way to track our money. And sometimes even those few hundreds, those 50s, those few shillings. And I remember there is a girl that was so much down. I think she was a client of mine from Kisumu. And actually, I bought a notebook and branded it in with her name and sent her, because I told her, now you can't leave that. You say you have been earning this amount of money, but you are saying you can't save anything. And as I said last time, if you're not saving money, you are living above your means. It doesn't matter how much you earn. It's either you are living beyond how you should be able to live. And for me, even if it's a 20K, I think I had two girls, as I told you last time, who were earning maybe an average of maybe 25K. They have fare, maybe 150 per day. And we tracked our money, and actually they told me, by the way, I can't manage to save 2K long term. Actually, this is money that I can't be able to get no matter what happens. And then I can live on the rest. I can budget the rest to fit into my expenses and all that. So spying our money is really important. And as I said, we will go into details when we come. Maybe I can try whenever we talk about when we learn about how to speak to our finances. I will also share a bit on budgeting and see how we can move on. But again, this is a topic where we can have on one much later. And as I said, knowing I want to go through this spying our money. Spying our money is it's nowhere to send it, or to send it and spend it. And I should never have statements like these are the statements that we should avoid if we want to have financial freedom. Either if you're still listening, or the guys who will listen to this recording later, it's so dangerous when you start seeing statements like this. Like it seems to me, or the last time I checked, like you can say, like the last time I checked, my account had this amount. The last time I checked, I was doing this and this with my finances. When it comes to finances, we don't have like we don't have there should no mysterious mysteries in finances. They are figures actually. If you can be able to actually right now say, I have an investment in ABCD, I have a short-term investment in ABCD, I have a medium-term investment in ABCD, and it's worth this much. I have a long-term check-off that I do that is worth 2K or worth 3K per month. Give your money figures, because there are no mysteries in figures. And if you are not sure how much you earn in a month, then that's when now I'm talking about spying our money, knowing like how much do I get. And I remember I grew up, I really liked my mom when she is far much, she passed away some time back, but she really taught me on how to track my money. She used to work in a market, in a circle that is selling tuba and later new clothes and all that. But she used to track every shilling she would get. And she used to track every sale she did. She would record faithfully. And I remember the last thing she did, she bought a 3 acre of land out of that circle. Like she would faithfully say, I've made this, and I would go through her book when I was small, and I would be wowed. Like she was like not like super literate. She could read and write and all that, but she knew how to track her money. And eventually she taught me about saving. She used to send me to the bank to bank for her. When I was so little, I would go to queue in the bank. I would deposit her money in her account. And I think all these disciplines started to shape up in my life. So it, money, like finances are figures. We can't say like it seems to me, or I think I got this and this amount of money last month. Let us overcome that. And I think budgeting and spying our money will really help. And the other statement is that there are no mysteries on finances. They are figures, either with little or with more. And you can say, by the way, James, this is how much I earn. It doesn't matter. The best thing is to start the discipline. I should know what has been entrusted to me and manage it well. You remember what I talked about last time? We have been made stewards. And I said, guys, I'm not intending to preach to us, but I can't avoid attaching what the scriptures have talked about finances and how we do it right now. So the categories on where sorry guys, I think my screen is, anyway, I'll just use the categories on where we send and spend our money. Number one, we spend it. I think that one we can tick that box. Number two, we repay debts. And debts, we will talk about debt later, and also look at the scriptures that talk about debt, because we know the scriptures have talked about the lender is the borrower is a slave to the lender, right? Yeah, so we will come into that. And then number three, we pay taxes, and these are big thing nowadays. Not really nowadays, we should, but nowadays it has been magnified. And number four, we save it. And number five, we give it. And these how we do finances like on a normal day. And I will come back to that. I will again repeat it. These categories on where we send and spend our money. Number one, again, we spend it. That is me into bracket. I repay debts. That again, me. If you maybe spend it, this where we talk about the 50%. That these are the bills that we know they are always there, either come rain, come sunshine, either it's flooding or not, if there is corona or not. If I don't own a home here, this is things like rent. This is things like electricity, water bills, and all that. These are constants. And then number two, if someone is owing you, this is where we pay. And again, this is me again. If you're not in debt, congratulations. If you are, it don't feel as if you're out of place. It's still fine, but we will come into that later. And then number three, we pay the taxman. Like nowadays, it's 16%. If you're on commission, that is 10%. And number three, four, that is where we save it. And you will see now why we don't prioritize saving, because now saving for us becomes number four. Now we will see how we flip it, where saving, actually paying yourself, that is saving, becomes a priority. We flip that. We will flip this later. And number five, maybe there's someone with Rorashio. This Saturday, I'm in a wedding somewhere. I'll be I've given, and also maybe I'm also in the bridegroom, so don't worry, I'm still in the lineup. I was so shocked when a friend of mine approached me to do that. He is a client and also a friend. Um, these are places where we give to God and we give to others. And God, I mean tithe and offerings, and others, I mean now, if you have someone or even parents. And again, we will come into that later. So how we have been conditioned, this is how we have been conditioned over the years, how we should use our money. It's called a me first living. Me first living means, again, I come back, spend it is me, repay debts is me, pay taxes, this is still me because I'm paying my taxes to the government. And number four, save it, it's still me. And that is how we have been conditioned. And number five falls into God and others. Yeah, I don't know whether we are still together. If you are together and you guys are still audible, you can put a thumbs up in there so that it's not a dictation or a lecture. Yeah, I would love to hear whether you guys are still in this conversation. Um, Unfortunately, I can see guys. I want to hear maybe a message of whether it's making sense. You can say, yeah, thank you so much, Eva. Again, thank you for being so interactive. Um, yeah, sorry guys. I think guys have not been able to log in. I don't know how you Eva logged in into this meeting, or Charles, or who else in this this meeting. I don't know how. Though there was a mix-up somewhere, and I was telling Puffs that next time we will use the Google Meet, where I have the contacts for everyone. No, the Google Forms. Again, I like, because of data protection, I don't like using that a lot nowadays. But again, I think I will still, the next class I will have to do that, so that everyone can be able to get the sign up as soon as possible, and I'll be able to communicate with everyone. But again, we will just move on. Thank you so much for confirming that, Eva. And we will just move on. And as I said, I will use a lot of scriptures, guys, because it really guides me, and I've realized I can succeed, or there is success, when I follow what God and what Jesus talked about finances. I told you guys we have 2,333 scriptures about money. He talked about money more than heaven. So there is a statement there. So I want us now to come to a place of, we have said how we have been conditioned, the me living kind of life when it comes to finances. And when we read Matthew 6:21, I want you guys to record that somewhere. You can read the scripture later. That is the best way, actually. I like highlighting scriptures and then later, because there is a way God speaks to our heart beyond what I'm explaining. And then we'll just be moving on. This Matthew 6:21, and Jesus flipped to the script. Where my treasure is, there my heart will be also. I know that's a very famous scripture. And as I said, some of these scriptures, they don't land so strongly, but when we now concentrate with whether this one topic, we actually realize what he wanted to mean when he wrote that. So number two, my treasure is my stuff, what I own, etc. And this, when I wrote about this statement, it was so true for me. Whatever gets my attention gets my money. For example, when parking a new car, I go to the farthest parking. This happened actually, it is so true. You actually look at the parking yenye hata mtu akifungua gari, like the next parked car, they won't kwaruza your color. Like it's new, it's smelling like that leather smell they usually have and all that. And we really treasure these cars. And then 7 years down the line, you realize like you can park it anywhere. Sometimes there's a time I forgot even to ingiza gari for a parking, like where I live. I left it in the street outside. Like it reaches to a place where it's no longer like you have used it until you can actually forget it somewhere. And I think this was like a wake up call when I was reading this. When it's new, like even bumps, ninaruka karibu na side, this is it's like a treasure to me. Um, and how we know where our treasure is. If you run your statement, your M-Pesa statement, I remember last year I was given a chance to go to the UK, and when I ran I have a side hustle. I ran of course, we have to prove how, like we will not go and stay there and all that. So I ran my statement, my M-Pesa statement, and printed it in my bank account. They were verified with stamps and all that. And actually, when I go to my M-Pesa statement, that is when now I see my priorities. That is where I know where my treasure is. Where do I use most of where when the month begins, when I told you guys I love cars. I love talking about cars. I can talk about cars and finances the whole day. And so I have a side hustle for cars and for importation of cars and all that. So there is whenever I have a commission, maybe I'm importing someone's car and all that, they you will see how where my priorities is from the first time I will start using that lump sum I will get. The same thing with my salaries. When I run my statement, you will see where I'm sending my money. You can see where my treasure is. And I will come to that because now we are trying now to realize what now, or maybe to think through this scripture where Jesus said that where my treasure is, there my heart will be. I don't know whether, guys, this is making sense. If it doesn't, you will tell me where to repeat later, and then we will be able to make it more clearer. Yeah, now we go to the next slide. Sorry, guys. All right. So again, number one, Jesus is not after our money when he talks about where our treasure is, our heart will be. But he is after our heart, and I will share more details about that. Um, we dedicate our hearts to God in times of crisis, but Jesus wants us to dedicate our possessions and money first, and this determines whose we really are. And this is true to me. If it's not true to you, maybe um, anyway, yeah. This is so true to me for so many. It has been true to me for so many years, where whenever I'm in crisis, that's when I used to fast. I used to seek God. I used to tell him, hey, remember, I'm still your son. I'm here, you see. But Jesus wants us to dedicate our possessions and our money first. And this determines who we really are. And number three, money is tangible, and we have got to decide what we will do with it. And as I said, if it's 100,000, it's 100,000, and we choose how to do with it. If it's 20K, and by the there is no little money or more money, because sometimes we say by the And I used to be there. I used to tell God, if you give me a job, I will start tithing. I will start prioritizing you. You will start becoming my treasure. And money would come, money would go. And again, I'll be feeling guilty again. Job in Aisha, I remember one time I lost a job, like the company was closed by the KRA out of compliance and all that. And then I pleaded with God again. I even got an international job, went out of the country, and again, the cycle continued. But I'll share around when did I have a turnaround. So number three, I say that money is tangible and we have got to decide what we will do with it. Uh, the direction of my money reveals my affection. This one I said, I think I went ahead of myself where if I run my statement, it will show where my affection actually is. And this is serious. There's a guy, I don't know who knows, a guy called Rabbi Lapin. He's a rabbi that talks about finances, how he's a Jewish rabbi, let me say that. And I got a privilege to attend a function again. He was speaking, I think it was December last year, and he has spoken a lot about this. I don't know whether he's even a Christian, but he's called Rabbi Lapin. If you can Google him, you will find him. He has also several books. One of my favorite is the book is called Thou Shall Prosper. And we may have issues with Jewish culture and all that, but again, I like it because he has also gotten a lot of wisdom from the Bible, and he acknowledges the Bible, even the words of Jesus. He has read the Bible intensively and all that. So again, he comes to this place where he talks about the direction of my money reveals my affection. So I will go to the next slide. And now this is now Jesus' way of thinking. He flips what we talk about here. He flips what we talked about, me, me, me. Let me actually come to this one. Jesus now, out of telling us, out of the way he addresses about our finances, he flips these five ways on how we spend our money. And actually, number five should become number one according to the scripture. Um, and this is again Matthew 6:33. Hope you guys have recorded this because it's so good when we come back to the Word of God and break it and see the sense out of it. And this is where we give first, we save, and then we spend. And I think this looks funny, and I told you guys, but if you're patient with me, we will walk through it. It and again, as I said, thank God I'm not a pastor. I don't have a church where like I can say like I'm preaching this so that guys can come in later. So I feel like I have the freedom to actually all the authority to challenge this. So this is Jesus' way of actually how we should live with the little we have. And there's a scripture that actually says, when we are faithful with little, we can also, God can also trust us with much. And actually, I've seen people who have moved from so little, and as we prioritize this, you can imagine as we flip this, we live the Jesus way, and then we know how to speak to our money. I don't know there's any level that we cannot be able to scale. And you will see the results around your life, around your family, if you have a family, around what you do, and around places that you have been losing money. Because as we spy our money, we will also be seeing where also we have been losing our finances or our money. And it will be mind blowing. And some of these things you may not say, like, by the way, from this is how much God has avoided me through sicknesses, through ABCD, the book of Malachi calls them devourers, where my money slips through our fingers without even knowing. And the scriptures again talk about money grows wings. like ile advert ya Red Bull. My children loves to quote it so many times. Yeah, and the actual scripture says that money grows wings. It can fly away just like that. So seek first, and all these other things shall be added. Now, this is the Matthew 6:36. And so, number one, this is others' kingdom, that is God and others. Actually, when Jesus flipped the whole thing, because if our treasure is Him, if our heart is sold out to Him, if we seek Him first and His righteousness, then all these things shall be added unto us. And what I love about principles is that principles don't change. Um, what has been written, it has been tested over time. And we will go deeper into that. And then number two, now that this is where now we come to me, now after prioritizing God, that is in tithe and offerings and all that, we bless others. And I will not leave us like hanging. What do you mean by others? As we wrap it up, maybe on this coming, no, this coming week will be the third one, and then the fourth one. No, actually, I can share the next one now. What others means, because again, we need, as we learn about speaking to our money, we can't just go out there because James said, or the word says that we prioritize others, then I should give to anyone. No, we cannot do that, because again, it matters where we send our money, either in giving to others or even in saving. It matters where we save our money. We don't just put our money wherever we want. Yeah. So number two becomes now after putting others' kingdom. Now we are in the others' kingdom. That means it's God and others first. Now we come now to me, that is spending, now repaying debts, taxes, and saving it. The good thing, if you're employed, the taxman picks your money first, because you are paid minus your taxes. So even if we talk about this, still the taxman have his way. But again, if you're in business, again, it's good that we pay our taxes. Yeah. So and then we will realize now, how do I pay myself after God and others? How do I then pay myself? And this is where now later we will now, or if we have a one-on-one, that's when now we come into dividing. When I come to saving, how do I start now? How should I do my, how should I grow my emergency fund if I don't have one? How do I go to medium term? How do I go to long term? Because I should have money that I cannot be able to withdraw no matter what. I have some money that within 5 years I can have my saving, an emergency where no matter if anything happens along the way, I can't be able to get it. And as I said, finances, it's a very broad topic, but we will try to do as much as we are able to do. So, what is the solution? If we look at this, the others kingdom first, and then me second. And this is really tough, because this, as I said, Jesus is not after our money, he's after our heart. How does he break our heart? Not breaking like ile ya kuvunja roho, but actually that ox that is being trained on how to farm. If you have ever seen, in my village, we don't farm with oxes and all that, but I've traveled within our country and seen guys who are farming with oxes. Breaking is like where it's no longer a struggle for me to put God first with my finances, and also putting others first. Yeah, so I will go into this next one, and this is Jesus' way. Um, and as I said, money like doing money is, we deal with figures. It's not a place of guesswork. And I want to know where to stop. Or guys, I don't know what is standing out up to that level. Is there something? Because again, if we go so far without maybe looking at whether we are getting it, we might lose guys along the way. Milka, are you listening in? Ama uko wapi? Eva, what is standing out? Charles, are you listening in? What is standing out so far? Or we just move on? Maybe you can put in the chat if you don't mind. Mm-hmm. All right, guys. All right. So I will just move on. It seems you guys, and as I said, I'm very deliberative. I like sitting in, thinking through something, and then it has to make sense into my mind. If you guys are at the same point, it's still fine. I'll just move on. Yeah. So let me see. So what is the solution for Jesus way? Number one is pick a percentage to give. And of course, I love it because, and this issue of tithing and uh, offerings and others, vulnerable and those who are in need. And I will come to that later to actually break it down to the finer details. And then I talked about picking a percentage, and that is super, let me not say super easy. It's easy because you know how much you get. And number two, purpose on the percentage. And if possible, um, automate it. That is when it comes now. You have now done the God and others. And number two, and that is, I will now come to um, the finer details on the next, this coming week. This is where we come to the finer details, where the purpose on the percentage on how much to save, that is on short term, medium term, and long term. And if possible, you automate it. That means, like when I got my pay slip, is it today? Yeah, I was paid today where I work. I have been paid the balance of after deductions. I automate it, like I let it be deducted before I even get it on my hands, which is super easy. And that is what I would really encourage each one of us to automate your savings, the short term, the medium term, and long term. Um, and the good thing with short term is that it can be your bank account. Uh, for short term, that is an emergency fund. It can be a money market because of the percentages and all that. We need to put our money where above the inflation and all that. And that is maybe a conversation I usually have whenever I'm meeting my clients, and which I can give us a chance as we wrap up the 4 weeks. And then the medium term, we can automate that, plus the long term. Medium and long term, we can automate that. So that again, I learned to live without that money totally. Like me today, I know how much I have. I have to sort out my budget with what I've gotten. And then number three, that is me again, save and invest a percentage. Oh yeah, this is it. Um, so emergency fund, invest in the future and all that. And as we do our money, we should know that we should all the time think about retirement. We should always think about, can I have my money for the rest of my life? How can I have my money for the rest of my life? And that is a very important conversation that I usually have with guys. Have you started thinking about past 55 or 60 years today? If you're not doing that, then life is very short. And this is not just a statement. Um, I can tell you right now, I'm heading to 44, and I can tell you 54 is not too far. And if I'm not thinking about 54 and not just thinking about the year, I should think about how do I make past, like I believe by 55, by 60, I'll still be strong, but I should make sure at that age past 50, I can be in a place where I can have, because I want us to continue from here this coming week. We will do a recap, and then we will just move a step further. And then the other week, I will dwell into speaking to our finances. So that again, we are not just talking about our retirement, we are also looking at living right. and glorifying to God in all that we have and all that we do. And then number four, which is now me, I say these are Jesus' way, is the kingdom way. These are others first kingdom. Number four, it's again the me, the percentage. I live on the rest. That is, I've automated. Like by the time money is landing on my hands, I've prioritized God and others. I've put in the percentages. And these are places where, oh, number two is it now still on others where we say, like I know guys who give to missionaries every month, or to a children's home, or to something that breaks your heart. Actually, I'm going ahead of myself now. um I wanted to share. I will share that this coming week. And then the number four is living on the rest, and this where now kuna watu wanasemanga wanajirudishia shukrani. Number five, this where I want to upgrade to upon, because it doesn't mean that tunajinyima and we are living like what do we say? I know I was talking to someone who I managed to talk about to involve some finances somewhere. And actually, for me, initially was like, yeah, you can't be having this much and living the way you are living. Like I could be saving everything to my future until I'm going hungry. Because again, when we talked about the money languages, now this guy was like, now at a place of his own. And I know, especially where I come from, there are men who actually go overboard into, yeah, saving to your future, saving to your future. They have millions in their accounts and they are actually dying of hunger. Again, that is very, because we can say they have the discipline to save, but actually it's unhealthy. So when I talk about upgrades, it's good to drive a good car, it's good to have a good phone, but again, I should actually prioritize these other things. And then when I come here, I will realize actually things are better. And or actually I can delay my gratification and actually spend to something that I've really wanted to buy for a long time. So this is not like save, don't enjoy life and all that. I know like us, we do family holidays, we do all this stuff, but we don't just pay once. We like look at guys who allow us to pay for a holiday, pole pole, every month. By the time we are in a certain month during the year, we just do a holiday, and someone may think like you guys have so much. Yeah, so it's good to know that it's not that we are starving ourselves to death to actually look like we are saving money. No. Yeah, so other than that, guys, I think today we are finishing super early. Um, and of course, I would love to hear what is standing out for today. I want it maybe on a chart. On the chart, what is standing out? Is it making sense? Is it something that, is it actually making sense? Yeah, Eva and Charles. Charles, are you in a place where you are listening in? I would love maybe a statement or two, whether it's making sense. And yeah, it can be on the chat. You can unmute. Oh yeah, Eva, you had asked a question where we are sending our money, prioritizing God first. Yeah, great. Thank you so much, Eva, about that. There's someone who likes using like giving your money work to do, so that actually when we are saving, even long term or medium term, we are letting our money to work for us. It's only that you cannot be able to get your money. This is not like just sending to M-Pesa and all that. This where whatever we do, we are either changing the title of what we get. You take, if you earn like 50K, you take like, let me say like 15K, you change the title to your landlord's account. You take the 5K, you give it Kenya Power name, and then you send it. It just the names you give to it. there is a question I posted the other day. What would be the best word for you to put on a budget? There's someone who guys came up with different names for them to feel comfortable, because budget looks like a very big word, like my expenses plan. This is my forecast, my money forecast, or my expenses forecast, and all that. It's just on how we play about the words, but actually it just depends on how we do our finances. So thank you for that, Eva. And I think we will come into now to the finer details this coming week, so that again, as we come maybe to the next class, when we now come to a place of if there are guys who are in debt, how do we now do the debt factor? How do we now go into saving? Because I talked about it doesn't matter, like it also matters where I put my money. Because if I'm a Christian, it also means that there are places I can be saving my money through that are also, like people talk about altars and such stuff. Am I also being cautious about where I save my money and all that? So that again, we are laying a foundation, and we are living right about money. And as I said, most of the religions of the world, they are shameless about whenever they talk about how they do their money, how they talk to their money, how they do their savings and all that. And it's only maybe where we are that people think we are just careless, because we have the scriptures that have been written on how we can live. And because I'm talking about money and finances, they know that we have the principles, yet we don't teach and we don't live according to them. And that is where our priority will be. Because even our work, God says, the scripture talks about God trains our hands on how to make wealth. He has not hidden his, and he has not talked about that like in hidden terms. He has been like so profound on finances and how to make wealth. So guys, because I can't see much chat here, it's still fine. Thank you, Eva, for being so engaging, and I really appreciate your input today. Yeah, it's making sense. Mostly we spend, then we are left with nothing to save and give to God. Hapo ndio kazi iko. For sure, Eva, it's a problem because it's a heart problem. But actually, by the time we finish, we will have gotten a heart surgery on matters finances. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys, for logging in. I don't think there's much today. I think we can end it there. And I think I will also share this live on the Bold, uh, Financially Bold. I don't know whether Eva, you are in the group Financially Bold. I think I'm in so many groups. Sometimes it passes me, but perhaps I've been faithful to share the details there, and I will be sharing the live in that group. Yeah. Is there any question? Great. Thank you so much for confirming that. Yeah, thank you so much. Charles, thank you for logging in, and I really appreciate you guys. Eva, thank you. Have a lovely weekend actually, and have a good night. Thank you, guys.
James.
Hi, Charles.
Hi, unanisikia?
Hey, nakusikia vizuri moja kwa moja.
Wanted to ask,
Yes.
do you have anything planned on people who earn irregular income on how they can
Mhm.
plan for their finances?
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't have specifically,
Mm-hmm.
but when I touched about how my mom used to sell soko and she used to record and do all that, but I can carry it on from there because I realized there are guys who are in business, like so many guys are in business.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that's a place maybe to think about. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so that again, and like that's a place where also there are people who have been in business, they earn a lot, but actually they don't know, but or actually they are not into pensions and all these other things. That's why I'm
Yes,
also bringing in the topic of I hope I'm not recording myself. Um,
I
um,
don't think you're recording.
No, I think I've exited from recording. Yeah,
Mm.
so it's true, Charles, because the way I'm saying, like when I talk about pension and all that, the other
Mm-hmm.
way talking about that is like, can I have can my money go for the rest of my life? So that again, someone now stops to think. By the way, am
Mm.
I actually putting in something on the side that can
Mm-hmm.
help me beyond? It's not about employment, it's about having money or stability on finances beyond the years that I'm strong to work.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
so
the reason as to why I
mhm,
wanted you to touch on it, I
yeah,
think when you talk of financial planning, you usually talk
yeah,
to people who have a regular income, but
yes,
then there's this group of people who are maybe creatives,
mm,
maybe they have like not a stable income per se,
maybe
but then
gigs and
yes, gigs and all
yes,
that. So there's
hmm,
this time they might earn well, then there's this other time
yeah,
they might even go for a month without any income.
yes,
Yes, so how do you like plan for your finances when you're in such a scenario situation?
yeah,
I think that's something you can uh, touch on.
yeah. I actually
Um,
I can touch on that and maybe go into details. Today I messed up. You see, I don't know how did you log in into the meeting?
I used the previous email that was shared, the last
Uh-huh.
week's one, and I just logged in with the ID and the password.
Oh, because I I think there was that problem, and I think it not everyone thought about that. But I've seen guys who have been trying to get in. I shared the meeting link to login
Mm-hmm.
direct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so but also I think my wife also she had tried to change some few things, and then it messed up like last time.
Mm-hmm.
And I got into a place where I lost a lot of data from people who had signed in. That's why I was thinking maybe the next one I will use a Google form to sign up,
Mm,
guys. Someone is giving the details of where do I work, this is my
mm-hmm.
contact, this is my email, and then
Mm-hmm.
if there is any hitch, I'm able to
Mm-hmm.
communicate directly with guys. But
Mm,
these few are in a group, in a major group that we created with pups. It's a ladies group, most of them.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'll try maybe the next class to try to be as much as possible to use to have information, more information about on guys. Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, but I get you, Charles. Thank you for the feedback, especially on the guys and I know most guys are. There is a very big number that are in that scope. It's not everyone who is in employment, and
Mm-hmm.
also many people think. You see the way this girl chatted. Like sometimes we think we don't have money,
Mm,
we use, and then until imeisha ndio tuna realize by the I should have saved. You see,
mm.
yeah, it's a really important thing to challenge guys. And now,
Yes.
yeah, chatting with guys later, like there are few of them who really chatted later last Thursday. Thank you so much.
Mm,
That was powerful. Blah
mm,
blah blah. So I'm trying to also to have to win trust with guys.
Yes.
So that again in future they know, yeah, there's something coming up. There's a place to look up to on finance talks and all that. And
Mm,
also I
mm,
will really challenge guys on, yes, we have talked about finances, we have talked about budgeting, we have talked about
mm-hmm,
saving, emergency, medium and long term. Then
mm-hmm,
what is the way forward? I think that would
mm-hmm.
now be a better place actually to tell guys, yeah, this way now, because I'm also challenging people pole pole. It also matters
Yep.
where you see. Again,
Yes.
I would tell them now, I've reviewed few companies, and this the reason I stick to this one company on ABCD, because
Mm-hmm,
of their integrity, the way on their payment, on their maturity
mm-hmm,
payment, and all this.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like marinating pole pole,
Yes.
but also with a lot of integrity, because this is what I believe works, and I've seen
Yes.
it work. Yes.
Mm, mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think yeah, maybe tu hiyo mix up ya leo ndo imefanya turnout ikwe a bit low,
Yes.
but I think you can still redeem yourself. Then I don't know
Mm.
whether uko na contacts za wale watu walikuwa last time ama pia hizo
Yes. Most of them I have them,
mm,
because like 20 of them they are in that group.
mm,
Yeah, so actually 20 of them walikuwa watu 20 what? Tulikuwa like 27, si ndio?
mm.
Yeah, so 20 of them are in that group.
Ah, so
Yeah,
I
so
think
it will be easier.
next time ukishare tu hiyo login details na password itakuwa easier
Yeah,
for guys.
for sure. Because the meetings I've ever ran on parenting and marriage,
Mm-hmm.
I think Google Form used to be super easy because I have everyone contact. Maybe Wednesday I do a WhatsApp text for to
Mm,
everyone, causing a reminder. And there's
yes.
a time I used to have like 50 guys or 70 guys faithfully to
Mm.
the very end. Yeah, but I
Ah,
think yes, it used to
hiyo
be
ni namba
super
mzuri.
amazing. Yeah, so
Mm,
I will still go back to the old way of doing things,
mm-hmm.
because now
Yes.
this Google Premium also, I think it's also limited in a way. And then when you adjust
Mm-hmm.
something, it can lose data of almost everyone.
Mm,
Yeah, but looking at the names, maybe Paps is my wife. I like calling her Paps. Like she told me like, yeah, there's a I figured out I could know like 20 of the guys who signed in this group and all that. Like last time, Leo alikuwa
mm-hmm.
a parallel meeting on her side. That's why maybe
Okay.
she couldn't be able to assist me into sorting out those guys.
Ah,
Yeah, but it shall be well. I'm seeing this like long term. Like, yeah, I'll
mm-hmm.
be very proactive into learning and reading about stuff and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So that
Mm-hmm.
again, there's always something coming up on finances, and out of that,
Yes.
being
And
able
you're
maybe,
always current with the whatever,
yeah, with
with what
whatever
is
is
going on.
happening currently. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
Hiyo ni
yeah.
poa.
So
Mi nimelike pia venye leo umefanya ikakuwa shorter.
yes.
Eh,
Actually, last time nimeangalia the notes I did last time. I think
ulisukuma.
nilifanya cocktail.
Ulisukuma sana, but
Yeah.
this time round
Yes.
umefanya poa, so hata mtu atakuwa anasema tu kama ni 1 hour I can spare that time.
Yeah, actually, I want to be making it 1 hour.
Yeah, 1 hour is good enough.
Yeah, yeah. And then it will have even bigger crowd, like where
Then
like
pia
it's 9.
nimependa venye umefanya recap ya last week, at least mtu
Mm,
anakuwa at par.
yes.
Hiyo ilikuwa poa sana.
Yeah, thank you so much, Charles. Actually, next week again I will try to communicate as much as possible. There is a
Yes.
boy I've been following up,
Mm-hmm.
and he really wanted to sign in. He may realize he was frustrated and all that.
Mm,
Yeah, but again, I will still do a recap for last week and today, and then move
yes.
on to Dogo to the next
Yes.
week,
Yes.
and then make it short and sweet, and see how things will
Yes.
go. Yeah,
Itakuwa tu sawa.
sure. Thank you so much, Charles, even for
Sawa sawa.
logging in. Yes.
Yes, ni venye
I'll
tu
be there.
nilikuwa nafanya kazi zingine singeweza
Oh,
hata
don't worry.
kucontribute sana
I totally
but
understand.
I wanted to just get a drift of how you're going to conduct it this time, if there's any improvement. But
Yes.
me no feel, I think this time imekuwa better
Oh,
every
thank you so
time.
much. So by the time niende
every
to
time
another class, things will be better.
utakuwa ushapata the drift.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so thank you so much, Charles. We will talk at least. I finished well. Guka finally was operated on.
This set time na ukastick to it, then brief on ukakuwa brief on stories and all that.
Yeah. Sawa, Charles. Yeah, see, we will talk later then. Hi, Charles.
Tutaongea kesho.
Sure. Thank you.